What is going on, guys? This is Jay Ortiz here, and I'm back with another Shatterline video for you today. And as you can tell in the title, that we're going to be talking about the future of Shatterline and what that entails leading up to the release of this game. So about a month ago, the devs had a Q&A. I'm a little late to covering this because I had a lot of things going on and some other stuff I wanted to cover as well. And also I just kind of want to take the time to think about it. But before we get into the future, please be sure to hit that subscribe and that like button if you enjoy the content. If you don't like what I have to say, leave a dislike. I don't care. But either way, let's get into it. So the first question that was asked during the dev Q&A is what content will be released in February. There was no definite answer what was going to be released, but they said that they will continue to add early access content as we lead to the launch. Obviously, as you guys already know, we already got a couple of maps and a new story mission and a couple more, so just expect to see more content leading into February. The next question was about custom lobbies. The developers actually came out saying that custom lobbies will be coming at launch. So if you guys are excited to start loading up some custom lobbies with your buddies, it will be coming. And then the next question revolves around the maps that we see on the Steam page. If you guys don't know, if you go to the Steam page for Shatterline, there is some maps and content that we haven't seen before. They will be releasing those soon. So be on the lookout for those. There will be new events. They'll continue to do what they're doing with the new events every time a new map comes out. But yeah, as for new characters will be added on later. No timeline, but most likely after launch. They are currently working on a new hero as we speak. So it looks like we're not going to be getting that at early access, but we will be seeing it later on in the future, probably after season 1, my guess, or maybe season 1 of the game, but we will see. The next question was about a content creator and volunteer application. So things like Discord moderators or just content creators to revolve around the game. Someone like me or so, but there's no timeline, but they do want to start that. They're going to start a content creator registration process. There's no requirements at all. It doesn't matter how big or how small, they will bring people on as content creators according to the devs. The next question revolved around, will they add a loadout system to the Expedition co-op mode? And they said no, they will not, which I kind of agree with because that kind of defeats the whole purpose in the way that the co-op mode is designed. But right now, as it stands, the co-op mode will only be for regular storyline missions like we see in Red Lake and Hectacomb. The next question was about a theater mode or replay system. I would love to see a replay system, but unfortunately they said not in the near future. They will see what demand looks like, and depending on that, they will decide if they want to add and implement that into the game. They will soon add an option to remove the HUD. That is in the plans, which is great for someone like me or someone like you who is building content around this game. It'll be nice to be able to just shut off that HUD. So they're going to be adding that soon. There's no timeline on it, but they said that they will see that. Grant weapon XP with a maxed out weapon. They looked at a potential weapon prestige system, but we'll look into it further after launch. They're going to go see what the demand is like after launch, and then they'll decide if they want to implement that going forward. I personally would love it because I would love to keep on being able to use the same gun, but obviously if you guys don't know, to really rank up and go up through the tiers, you have to use guns that you don't already have leveled up, because the more you use guns that you already have fully maxed out, you're not going to really gain any XP and get those higher tier weapons. The next question was evolving around aim assist. Aim assist will aim assist change when the console version comes out. They said they'll continue to tweak and work with aim assist as up into release when they drop it for consoles. Controllers as a whole are still being tweaked. So it looks like that's going to get constant improvements and changes and balancing leading up to February when it's fully released for console. The next question was revolving around LMGs. Do they have any plans to add LMGs? And they said not in the moment, but possibly in the future. Stats page. Is a stats page coming? They said they will do their best to add it after release. It is currently in progress. So it doesn't look like we're going to get it for early access, but it looks like after release, it should be there. I would love to see a stats page. That'd be awesome. Now, here comes some more PvE. Here comes a PvE question. Will more bosses be added to PvE? And they said yes. They will add one boss before release and will add more final bosses after release. So this kind of falls into my prediction where I feel like Shatterline is going to be a game where they primarily focus on their co-op PvE mode. Not to say that they won't focus on their PvP, but I just have a feeling, like deep down, this is not any information, but I just feel like it's going to be a game that prioritizes their PvE more so than their PvP. But obviously, we will see when time tells. Obviously, this game is only in early access. Hopefully, they can make adjustments to both and really make it just a great game overall. The next question was regarding to all those Linux users out there. Will Shatterline run on Linux? And they said no, it will not. With the engine that they are using, it is just simply not possible for this game to be ran on Linux. So I'm sorry for all you guys that run on Linux, but you will not be able to run this game. Only on Windows. So then here comes just a lore question about the development team. Was how did they come up with the name Shatterline? So apparently it took 2 years to come up with the game. It was originally going to be called Shell Guard. And then here comes a funny little quote, not quote, but snippet, is they were going to call it Crystal Dawn. But after doing research, I know some of y'all dirty motherfuckers, y'all ears already perked up. But Crystal Dawn is actually the name of a porn actress. So they couldn't use that. And then somebody brought up the name Shatterline in their workshopping conversations and whatnot. And they came up with the name Shatterline. But here we go. So the next question, will you see party in 3D in your lobby? So basically, that sounds kind of weird by the way the person asked it, but they're basically asking like in Call of Duty and Apex, when you add people to your party, you can actually see their physical character. You can see like the outfit and the things that they're wearing. So basically they said that they will not be adding it as of right now, possibly in the future, but they said there's a lot of technical things that can make it pretty difficult to do that, but they're not ruling it out. As for clan systems, so a lot of people want to start clans on this game, and they look like that they're saying that they're still trying to figure out the scope for that feature. They haven't had it set in stone how they want to implement it, but they're in the process of figuring out how they could add that feature in the future. And here's another one for you PvE guys. Will there be more difficulties added to PvE? They said currently they are working on a prototype right now that needs to be play tested, and it will be event and maybe permanent if people like it. And that is basically referring to an extreme difficulty version of the expedition mode, which would be pretty interesting because there's a lot of people that said that the expedition mode is too easy. I believe as it stands right now, they said that 75 to 80% of people complete the expedition and they feel that it's too easy. So they want to ramp up the difficulty a little bit to kind of drop down that completion rate from 80 to maybe around 50 to 60. But we'll see. I'm curious to see how they implement that feature. It's going to be pretty fun, especially when you get into the higher tier weapons and perks and all that jazz. It'd be nice to see higher difficulties. Will there be a rejoin system added? In PvE, they will. I'm sorry. So they will add a rejoin system. So if for whatever reason you get kicked out or stuck in the map, which has actually happened to me before, and one of my teammates had to leave, and they tried to jump back in, but they just couldn't. But they are actually in the process of making that to where people can do that. As for PvE, they're not going to do it. It just doesn't make sense, which obviously makes sense. The games are short enough, they'll end, and then you can rejoin with your squad. Another question is, will you implement more ways to get blueprints, especially in PvE? So it looks like they're already actually in the process of doing that they've already done this. So this is kind of like old news here. But as you guys can tell, if you guys are currently playing, they have made it easier and they're doing more things to get more blueprints so you guys can unlock more modifications for your weapons. As for emotes, they're currently thinking about adding emotes, but they're not entirely sure, so they don't want to commit to it. As for reload canceling, there's a lot of people that have been requesting reload canceling, me being one of them, but they said that they're not going to do it. They like how the current system is right now, which I'm not too against the current system either. I haven't really seen another game that has the reload cancellation system that Shatterline does, where you have that ticking timer, and if you were to swap weapons, it just go, and when you swap back, it just goes back to exactly where that ticking timer was when you swapped out of it. So they don't want to really remove that. They want to keep that as is, which is okay. I don't think it's the worst system in the world. It's a little bit getting used to if you're a guy who reload cancels a lot. So the content roadmap, they'll be showing their plans next month, but nothing super long. So it's actually about next month now because the new month started as I'm recording this November 1st. So hopefully we see something soon leading up to the release. Like I said, we're about 4 months away. There's no set release date yet, but they did say February, unless I am wrong on that. But as far as I know, it is just February 2023. So I'm really curious to see what the next few months look like and what the roadmap will look like. My guess, they're probably not going to show the roadmap until after release. That would be my guess, but we will see. Another question was, are you going to add calling cards and emblems? Yes, they're currently in process of being made and how they're going to implement the system. As it stands right now, the UI is currently the issue. So they're still trying to figure things out, but it is coming, and they will add challenges to obtain those set calling cards and emblems. Another question was just about the development team as a whole, is how large is your development team? So their development team is around 200 people in-house. They do have some people outside in other countries. If you guys don't know, they are based in the Ukraine. So they are currently going through the midst of a war at the moment. So they've been having some tough times. They lost their publisher. They're self-publishing this game, as everybody already knows. So they can't really do too much outsourcing at the moment. But I was actually kind of surprised to hear this number. I was surprised to see that they had about 200 people in-house alongside some people outside of the country that they're staying in. They're living in. Plans for content packs. So they're going to create as much content packs as the demand sees. They'll support all major holidays and events, as you guys already know. We've seen it for Halloween. So expect stuff for Christmas and New Year's and so on and so forth with all the different holidays. So, and I talked about in my previous episode how great that is to see a game in early access doing what they're doing. As for another PvE question, what other PvEs will be added other than the expeditions? So basically what they said was that they're going to do more story modes, basically what we already have, the co-op missions. They're going to offer more difficulties in those story modes for like Red Lake and Hectacomb. And when you complete those higher difficulties, you should receive more rewards. So that's currently in the works right now. They're also talking about doing a playlist of shorter PvE missions, kind of like they've coming out of their mouths themselves, is like Destiny 2 Strikes. So for people who don't have the time or want to play a full-length story mission, you can do those shorter versions in the strikes. So that's really interesting to see, that they're really changing up the variety and the amount of the PvE content they are offering. Another question was regarding PvP. Will the sections in the maps be named? If you guys don't know, certain games, they name certain sections of the map. It makes it really easy for callouts and other things like that, especially for competitive players and whatnot. Basically, they said they're coming out with a top-down version of the map and considering adding names to the map. So it's not set in stone, but they are thinking about it, and they are going to come out with a top-down version of the map. Another person, for all those competitive guys out there, said, will competitive be a focus when the game comes out? And they basically said it depends on how the community will play the game. This is one of the biggest things that I noticed during their Q&A. It's just they're just waiting to see what the demand is like. So basically, if you guys really want to see something done, make it be known. They are listening. So join their Discord. That's how I found out a lot of this stuff. But yeah, same thing goes for tournaments. Somebody asked about, are they going to do tournaments in Shatterline? Depends on the demand. But yeah, that's pretty much for all the questions that I had. I wasn't able to stay for the entire Q&A. I was there for a solid 2 hours, but I handpicked some of the things that I thought would be the most interesting that people would actually want to know. So let me know what you guys think of these future things that could be happening and that are happening. Is there anything that you like, that you dislike? Feel free to let me know. And like I said, if you guys enjoy my content, feel free to like and subscribe. Get all the latest Shatterline news. I try to keep up with this game. This has been one of my favorite games in the past couple months. So Expect more of this. But yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.